Folks, we're all back together yet again. We got myself, we got Meerkat, we got Stevie here, and it's free money football where we break down all these games this week to get you that free money come Sunday and Thursday and even coming up Saturday soon. So we won't be forgetting about that. We'll be getting all that free money for you guys. I gave out some picks out in the tree stand a couple weeks ago. Hunter Renfro, a huge over on Thursday that I wish I could have given out, but again, I was out of town. So we got to get back into it, boys. Stevie, it's been a fun time in football right now, especially now you get 7 teams in the playoff hunt. It seems like almost everyone is still involved besides, like your Falcons, your Jaguars, your Jets, but almost everyone else has a chance. Some guys, even like the teams like the Seahawks, they still have some life left in them. How you feeling, Stevie, here heading into week 13?
I mean, it's been fun. It's been fun for these playoff races. It hasn't been fun to be a Rams fan these past couple weeks, I'll tell you so. I mean, just the games they're losing and the way they're losing, just Stafford looks like he's playing hurt. It's just been tough for that. But these playoff races, they've been kind of chaotic. The AFC, I mean, look at the AFC right now. You have about 11 teams that are fighting for this playoffs. I love it. I don't really love what the Patriots have been doing, if I'm being perfectly honest. Don't love that. I kind of.
We're not going to talk about that right now.
Yeah, we won't talk about that.
At the very end. That's the Monday night game. We'll talk about that at the end, Stevie, because I'm not worried. We'll talk about it at the end.
I love what I've been seeing from the teams in the AFC North. I think that's going to be a fun race. The AFC West as well. The Raiders getting a huge Thanksgiving win over the Cowboys. The Chiefs have came back to life. It's just been a cluster. I've enjoyed every bit of it, except for, the Rams struggles that I don't want to talk about. You don't want to talk about the Patriots, Ty? I don't want to talk about the Rams. I just don't want. I'm not even going to say a word when we get to that game. I'll just let you guys.
Yeah, what the hell? Cooper Kupp didn't give me 30 points this week. That's absolute bullshit. Meerkat.
He's the only one who does it right for the Rams, though. Every week he'll get his, but the rest of the Rams team just nope.
But Stevie's crazy if he thinks he's depriving us of his homer talk. We need that every week. He's got multiple homers. We need it this week. But
Titans play this week, right?
Yeah, there you go. But I got a little break last week coming off of a hiatus. I had such a bad week 11. I'm like, I'm just taking week 12 off. I need to reset and go over this board. It's a gross board, but I'm feeling good about it, boys. I'm ready to break this down.
Oh, absolutely. And you talked about it. We didn't get that Sunday episode out last week, but we got our picks out over the weekend previously. Ooh, am I cutting out? I'm trying to get another tab. Ooh, all right. I think I'm good.
Yeah, you're good. We got
everyone against the spread. I'm trying to pull up everyone against the spread. My computer's just like, yeah, no, we're going to start making you lag against the spread. Good luck, Ty. I figured it out, though. But, yeah, I gave out some picks up in the trees. Thank God I did get that buck because I did make that switch over to the Bucks on that pick, especially because they literally talked about Tom Brady not covering against the spread in primetime, like, consistently for, like, 3 straight days, whether it was SportsCenter or NFL Live or NBC or anyone. Like, they were all talking about it. So, good to make that. But let's hop into it, boys. We had a nice Thursday night matchup here. Should be a very, very fun one. Both these teams we saw play on last Thursday. So interesting that they go right back into those back-to-back Thursday night games. Still, a week off. It's nice. We'll see. We'll talk about how the Bills get that extended break, but at least still getting a week. The Cowboys going into New Orleans to take on the Saints. Cowboys -4.5 in this one. Seems like that offense might hopefully can get right, especially if you're going to get some of these pieces back, which it seems like they will. Michael Gallup is really starting to step up with Dak, and we're hearing a lot of talk. They're going to keep feeding Zeke, Meerkat.
Yeah, we're going to see them feed Zeke, and we're going to see them feed Tony Pollard, too. Tony Pollard's looked great for them. He might be the best backup running back in the NFL, but better than some starters for sure. I wouldn't mind him in the Bills, but both of these teams, are they combined 1-7 the past 4 games? They're down bad, these guys right now. Taysom Hill announced in like the past hour is going to be the starting quarterback for the Saints in this game. Saints getting healthier. You're Kamara should be back. Ingram, Ramchick on that offensive line. Armstead should be a little more healed than he was against the Bills. It makes you feel good about these Saints, but the Cowboys getting CD back, and probably Amari Cooper, it's looking like. Both these guys aren't playing well right now. Both these teams, and if I have to take one to bounce back, it's going to be the Cowboys. Obviously, I don't love the points, but the Cowboys are 4-1 against the spread on the road this year, 5-2 as favorites, and New Orleans just 1-3 against the spread at home. I'm leaning Cowboys right now, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'm kind of leaning Cowboys too. The one thing that kind of scares me is we talked about the Cowboys offense was struggling, but it's been their defense, and last week was no exception. They gave up over 500 yards to the Raiders, which you cannot do. But I don't think the Saints offense.
They got Hunter Renfrow, Steve.
I mean, he's great. Don't get me wrong. The Saints,
like Jerry Rice out there because he's the next. He's the white Jerry Rice.
That's Cooper Kupp. Let's pump the brakes on that time. That's Cooper. You want bias talk, Meerkat? There you have it.
The fantasy team was going to have problems at wide receiver. Well, I had Cooper Kupp and Hunter Renfrow, and we got the two white Jerry Rices on my team. So I don't know. I don't want to hear it.
Whatever. Here's the thing. The Saints don't have those type of playmakers. I don't think they do have Alvin Kamara. He's questionable still. I mean, I thought he was going to play last week and he didn't play. Who knows if he's going to play this week? He's still questionable. It's a Thursday game. That kind of scares me. Obviously, we'll know more about it hopefully tomorrow early on before you get those bets in. But I think I got to take the Cowboys, too. I think the Cowboys, with getting CD and Amari back, that's really going to help their offense. And I think they could just score the ball on the Saints defense. That's been okay, but it's gotten exposed a little bit. The past 4 weeks, they're losing streak. They've been giving up points. They've been giving up a lot of yards. I'll take the Cowboys here. I don't think the Saints offense, especially with Taysom Hill, is just capable of kind of sustaining long drives, which the Raiders did every single drive against the Cowboys on Thanksgiving. So I'll take the Cowboys.
Yeah, that Saints defense didn't look as good as it had been, obviously, against that Bills offense. Kind of shredding them up a little bit. I think if Dak has both his receivers, they could really tear them up. We'll see, though. Dallas had been a cover machine, but dropped another one last week, so we'll see about that one. Hopping into the Sunday slate here, we got the Giants going down to Miami, getting 4.5 points in that one. Giants are 6-5, though, against the spread. Where the Dolphins 6-6 right now. It's an interesting one here for the Giants, coming off of a win over the Eagles, a 13-7 win, like a real sneaky play.
Thanks to Jalen Reagor.
Yeah, the defense has been playing very, very well, only giving up over 20 points once in the last 5 weeks, and that was the Tampa Bay 2 weeks ago. So this could be a very sneaky game. We know the Dolphins' offense isn't that great, Stevie.
Yeah, it's not that great, but their defense they've turned it around. They have became that elite defense that people thought they were going to be at the start of the year when they were the opposite of that. They've been that most recently. Last 4 games, I think they've allowed 46 combined points. They haven't played world beaters, but, Carolina and Baltimore still good teams. The Texans and Jets, that's neither here nor there. But Tua's actually been playing better this year. Since he's gotten healthy, he's actually been playing better. And the Dolphins are finally using Jalen Waddle the right way. They're actually using Jalen Waddle as the weapon that he should be used as. They're giving him slants across the middle. They're getting him in open space. It's not the little bubble screens that we saw with just maddening from the Dolphins in previous years. I like the Dolphins here. I think 4 points over a field goal will get people inclined to take the Giants with the points, seeing they beat the Eagles. The Giants shouldn't have won that game. Jalen Hurts played terrible. There's no excuses there. But the Eagles receivers are just dropping everything. And I think the Dolphins defense is going to give –
Rager.
No, don't give me Ty. I mean, that was he had so I couldn't count how many drops he had, and then he had the worst drop of them all.
Too in that game that I've seen all year, and then he goes and does that, and it's just like, what the hell is going? It was nonsense.
Not
the
great.
Inconsistency there is unreal, and people are
it was awful
on Jalen Hurts for the performance. Well, look at the passes he threw because they were very catchable.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Hurts didn't have his best game, but he still had the Eagles in position to win. They should have won that game. The Dolphins defense, I think this is a type of defense that can get after Daniel Jones, force him into interceptions. The Dolphins are pretty good at forcing turnovers. I like the Dolphins with 4 points. Like I said, I think a lot of people are just going to be, it's more than a field goal. Dolphins aren't that great. This team's kind of turned a corner. I don't know if they can get themselves back in that clustered AFC playoff race, but the way their defense is playing, and if Tua stays healthy and is progressing the way he has been, this could be a sneaky team going forward.
Like an under too.
Yeah, even definitely an under.
41, you're like, EOPU, why would I bet under 41? Like, two shitty teams, there's going to be a lot of points. Shitty teams, but good defenses. Recipe for the under?
The under, and I mean, why not take the under? I don't think the Giants have scored a game total over 40 points in their last 5 games, which is ridiculous. Game total's been under 40 points last 5 Giants games, and now they're playing a very good defense.
Yeah, this is just a gross matchup. I'm not sure what to do here, but the Dolphins have looked good. They've won 4 straight since Tua's been 100% healthy, and he's looked pretty good in that defense, which was so overhyped coming into the season, then was terrible to start the season. Now you brought it up. They've looked good. They're only allowing 11.5 points a game over that winning streak right now. And I don't know. They have some good wins there. They look good. But so have the Giants. I mean, the Giants look good against the Raiders and the Eagles the past 3 weeks as well. So it's just a weird one where I want to like the Dolphins, but the Giants scare me a bit. But Miami is 3-1 against the spread this year after a win, and the Giants are just 1-2 in the same situation. So, I mean, if anyone's going to keep it going, I kind of like the Dolphins, but I don't plan on betting this game, guys.
Yeah, I honestly wouldn't blame you on that one. And on to the next game we're going to talk about. It's kind of another stinker of a game that is probably not worth betting because you got a Indianapolis Colts team who's 6-6 going on the road to take on the 2-9 Houston Texans. The Colts 8.5-point favorites in this one, and the Texans are the lowest ranked team, DVO wise in the entire league right now. And you're hearing, Tyrod's getting called in the middle of the night, being like, hey, you're not going to be the starter this week. And all sorts of weird things happening down there with David Coley and these Texans. But they've been frisky enough all season long. They're 5-6 still against the spread where, hey, that 8.5 number sounds just enticing enough where almost everyone it feels like is going to be on that. And we saw Jonathan Taylor struggle in that first half last week near Cat. And, he ended up getting his a little bit there in the second half. But if the Texans really key in on that, force him to struggle a bit, this could end up being a touchdown game, and you're really getting hurt at that 8.5.
Yeah, the Colts are going to win, guys. This is a game they're going to win, and I'm curious to see how the public money is going to play out. I'm feeling good about the Colts. I was on them when they were bad. I like their futures this year, and they're starting to bounce back, be the team that I thought they could be. But they're very much alive in this AFC South, too, with the Titans injury. Yeah. So they need to be playing their best football. Last week, bump in the road. You got to take advantage against the Texans, but Texans have been so frisky. Ty, you brought it up. They cover this year, and Tyrod's been good at it. Tyrod's had great flashes this year, post-injury, a bit of a rough stretch, but still hasn't looked bad. And, the Texans defense is allowing 135-plus yards rushing a game. Jonathan Taylor, if he wants a bounce back after a bit of a rough patch last week, it's going to be this week. I like the Colts to just control this, win it. I don't know if they go flashy and air it out, give Carson Wentz the reins and let him have a chance to lose it and run up the score. But I like them to win. I'm going to tease them. The 8.5, though, feels like a trap. I want to see where the money comes in.
Yeah, I mean, I think we said this conversation 3 weeks ago with the Titans-Texans game where normally, you kind of like to take the big dogs in divisional matchups, and that's usually how I look at games. I just kind of like the Colts to blow out the Texans here. You look at what they did when they faced off earlier this year. Jonathan Taylor, 14 carries, 145 yards, and 2 touchdowns. This is a bad run defense, and the Colts are built to beat up on this type of team because the Texans just don't really have that offense to score points. They only allowed 3 against the Texans last time they played. I really think this Colts team is just going to not really have to overthink this game, right? Just run the ball down their throat with Taylor the whole game and have your defense make plays on the other side of the ball. I know I usually like a lot of points, and the Texans have been frisky. They did beat the Titans outright 2 weeks ago. We can't forget about that. Just think this is a pretty easy recipe for success for the Colts. Just run the ball down their throats, control possession. Maybe you don't have 40 minutes of possession to 20, and just don't let the Texans offense have any big plays. I like the Colts spread here, and I obviously love them teased down if I like them spread.
Yeah, and the way you're talking, it makes me feel like it should be like double-digit spread, and we're at 8.5, and that's what leaves me very worried about that
That's
spread.
fair.
And we're gonna move on to it before I get even more anxious and keep talking like in circles on that game because I will talk about it all day trying to find the right angle. We got Vikings going into Detroit to take on the Lions. Detroit's still trying to get their first win of the season. We all know how frisky they've been. One of our favorite bets all year. They're 7-4 now against
7-4.
7-4 against the spread. Vikings are 6-5 though against the spread, even though they're 5-6. They've led in pretty much. They've still led, I think, in every game by at least a touchdown.
Yep.
Which is
incredible
at this point. Dan Campbell's still trying to get his first win. Can he get it done, Stevie?
I mean, this game to me is just I kind of like Detroit +7. I don't think we've ever seen a team, Ty, where we have a team that is as bad as the Lions are record-wise, 10-1, but 7-4 against the spread. I hope they keep it up because I would love to see kind of a record where the Lions go
incredible.
maybe 16-1, but they're like 12-5 against the spread.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. I'm rooting for it. I love it. And the Vikings, they only play one possession games, guys. It doesn't matter who they play. They could play a college football team. They could play a Pro Bowl type roster, and the Vikings will find a way to make it a one possession game. I think the Lions +7 here at home is a sneaky pick. The Vikings, to me, did what they always do last week, right? They gave you promise in the first half, played a great first half, and then second half, they just didn't make the plays at the end of the game. I think probably if the Vikings get ahead early, it does scare me if Detroit's able to backdoor this. But with Minnesota, this is kind of a set it and forget it, don't overthink it type of game.
I know both of you guys are Swifty guys. Let's get Swifty. Is he playing?
He's not. He's not gonna. He missed practice again today. They're saying
Jamal
it's looking
Williams
very doubtful.
Really good though.
Yeah, Jamal Williams, Jamar Jefferson, like they have guys they can throw it in the backfield. I think the Lions will find ways to score points, keep this game competitive. +7, sure. I hope it goes up. I would love them more than a touchdown because the Vikings just play close games.
I've taken the Lions every game this season. They just had a beautiful cover on Thanksgiving. For me, it's like the only bet I hit on Thanksgiving other than the Bills. And you know what? This is going to be the first week I'm not taking them. I'm actually putting my faith in the Vikings. I think people are going to be undervaluing the Vikings after some bad beats recently. Delvin Cook not looking like he'll go. People are going to be like, oh, that's a huge loss when Alexander Madison can do the exact same thing he's been doing, especially against a defense allowing 134 rushing yards a game. And, the Lions just don't make sense. They're 0-2-1 their last 3 games with a total losing margin of 5 points, and they've covered every game. It's just, they don't make sense. People love them now with the covers, all they've been doing. I think this 7 might be a trappish number. I bet we don't see this number move this week, no matter where the money's coming in. I bet this is one of those stagnant numbers. People down on Minnesota, it just not overhyped. I don't know. I love the Vikings, and I hope I'm wrong. I don't hope I'm wrong. I want to win this bet. But without Swift and just how things are playing out, I can see the Vikings coming up with a big cover here. They're a better team. You brought it up. They lead by a touchdown every game. Now, they're only 5-6, and they blow most of it. But you got to convert some of those, and the Lions' defense is just so bad.
You know what? I will say, Meerkat, if there's a couple teams I trust you with where I just will flip-flop, it's the Lions, the Browns, and the Bills. Yep. So this is one where I might just take the Vikings now. And thinking about it, too, the Vikings play very good first halves, right? If they go up like 3 scores on the Lions, do we really think the Lions get backdoor? I don't know.
They have done it this year. It was early in the season, sure, but just banged up. You're missing that consistent guy in Swift. It makes the offense more – Jamal Williams is going to make the offense much more one-dimensional without Swift. That's for sure. That you can game plan for Jamal Williams.
28 consecutive points.
No, that was the Texans. That was the Texans where the Rams got backdoored at the end when they give up like 3 scores with the Texans. The Lions against the Rams were when they were doing the onside kicks and the fake punts every single drive. Yeah.
Oh, shit. We're getting contentious. Let's go.
Where we have the roller coaster Philadelphia Eagles.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy.
Roller coaster. Should have won that game last week. We just talked about Jalen Reagor dropping some of those passes. They're on the road taking on the New Jersey Jets. That's 3-8 this year. They suck. I hate them. Zach Wilson's what was the stat Billy Football had? He's like, Zach Wilson's thrown 1 interception in the last 5 weeks. Well, yeah, he only played in like 1 game in the last 5 weeks. No kidding. Thanks, Billy. And that interception was one of the worst interceptions I've ever seen in my entire life. Throwing the ball at a guy who wasn't even looking at him. When the Eagles lose bad in games that they should have won and like they had a great opportunity to win, they always bounce back. So this is a game where you got the Eagles right here, touchdown favorites. I think they're going to absolutely blow out the Jets because that's the way their season's gone. Meerkat talked me out of it.
No, I agree with you. I don't want to, but I feel like this is one of those plays you got to take. I don't know if anyone's going to actually like the Jets with the points in this one, but I like the Eagles to bounce back. You're not going to see 4 turnovers out of this offense again against the Jets defense that's only got 9 this year, the lowest in the league, and there's no way the Eagles offense is even going to give the chance to Jalen Reagor to blow this game again and drop 2 touchdowns. And I know it's a bit of a pipe dream, but this NFC East race is growing kind of close. Like the Eagles, they have a shot. They're not dead in the water yet. I think they're only 2.5 games back of the Cowboys, who have been struggling. And the NFC East, boys, you know how that goes. The Jets are just so bad. They're 3-8 against the spread this year. Philly's just 6-6 against the spread, but they're 4-3 on the road, so I'm not too worried about them traveling. I could see this being nothing crazy, like a 27-14 game, Philly.
Yeah, I love the Phillies big, or the Eagles big here, not the Phillies. We're not talking baseball, we're talking football. Love the Eagles big here. The Jets, we all agree, they're a very bad football team. The other 2 very bad football teams the Eagles played this year, the Lions and the Falcons, they beat the Lions 44-6, and they beat the Falcons 32-6. The Eagles like to beat up on bad teams, and I think the Jets fall into that category. Now, I will thank the Jets for last week. They were one of the few picks I got right last week where they beat the Texans outright. Texans should never be favored to anyone. That line never made sense, but that's besides the fact. The Eagles, I think they just blow out the Jets, and Zach Wilson, yeah, he may have potential going forward, but he really hasn't shown me anything so far. I like the Eagles to have a nice bounce-back game here, and they have to have a bounce-back offensive game. 7 points last week against the Giants. They're definitely going to score on this Jets team that really can't stop anyone.
Yep. And on to a game here that I don't know what the hell is going on with this line even more than some of these other ones. You have the Cardinals only minus 7.5 right now on the road going into Soldier Field. Is there a blizzard projected? Because I do not get this line at all. Doesn't even matter who's at quarterback because the Cardinals have still figured out a way to win, and they still covered last week over the Seattle Seahawks. They have lost 2 of their last 4, but the Bears were on a big losing streak before finally getting a win last week over the Lions, and they still barely beat the Lions.
Didn't look good, yeah.
Barely beat the Lions, and they're getting 7.5 at home in this one. I think unless, it's really like one of those Soldier Field weather late. Well, I was going to say late November. It's actually December now. Holy shit. The December winds coming off the lake.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is that why that line is where it is? I think that's got to be why it is, Stevie.
It could be.
I love it, and I think Kyler's probably back.
I mean, he was limited at practice, and Fields was limited at practice today, so it's kind of question marks for both of them. I know weather could be, a concern. I don't usually worry about that until, right before, because weather changes. It changes as much as our picks and our analysts I gave.
Big thing more than anything else.
Exactly. But the Cardinals have been a very, very, very good road team this year. 6-0 on the road. They've won all 6 games by double-digit points. And I hate it because as a Rams fan, it disgusts me, but the Cardinals are a good football team. I hate saying that. They're a very good football team. They've been playing well this year. I can't trust the Bears. I can't trust the Bears. Even with Fields back there, I maybe hold off to see if the weather, it's a blizzard, you get that ugly, game in Soldier Field, but the Bears win or maybe lose 13-10, just an ugly game. But this Cardinals team, they're explosive, man, and I think we're going to see Murray play. Hopkins could be back as well, which is huge that they were both limited at practice. At least they're practicing now. I'll lay the points. I hate it, but just give me the Cardinals.
Yeah, Arizona so hot to start the season, but obviously that's taken some bumps along with their injury report. But Kingsbury said he's hopeful that D-Hop and Murray are both going to be good to go in this one, as he's on Zillow looking at properties in Oklahoma.
Weatherman Tybee, 70% chance of rain, 48 degrees, wind only 10 to 20.
That's not Chicago winter weather.
It's like, Kyler, I think, does play 100%, but I don't think Fields plays. I think Fields, the younger guy, Chicago season's already washed pretty much. They're just going to say, we're going to let him get healthy. Nagy's out the door with, Dalton now. It's not a team I want to bet on. And the Cardinals still have the Rams, the Colts, and the Cowboys. And this is a team that is going to want to clinch the division with a week or two to go because they're banged up, and they've been banged up all season. You're going to want that rest week there heading into the playoffs, whether they get the bye or not. I don't know if they will, but they're in a good position to right now too. So you got to take advantage of a game like this against the Bears. You have to win it with the tough stretch still going up. I just like the Cardinals here. The number feels weird. I'm going to keep monitoring Kyler's status. If Kyler is like a full participant at practice come Friday, I'm in. I'm in on the number. Okay. I'll take the points. But if not, it's looking like it's just some money line parlay fodder. I won't feel too confident.
Yeah, and on to the next one here, which might be like my favorite game to watch here, at least in the 1 o'clock slate.
I know what you're talking about. we all want to watch this game. We know what game it is, Ty.
It's the what? It's the LA Chargers in Cincinnati at the Bengals right here. We got the Chargers getting it 2.5, 3 right now. It's kind of moving in between the two of those little bit of oscillations. We got the Bengals just ahead of the Chargers in the standings by 1 game, 7-4 to 6-5. Bengals 6-5 though against the spread. Chargers 5-6. Chargers coming off a very, very tough loss against the Broncos. That offense really looked lost. Don't know what they were doing there. Herbert really just kind of running around without a lot of purpose. The offense just did not seem to have it. I don't know what it was. And even the week before, like, it was just a lot of Eckler, but like Herbert and the passing game just did not seem to be in sync. Hopefully they can get back together. But you have the Bengals who've come off of back-to-back big wins, beating the Raiders by over 20 points and beating Pittsburgh 41-10. Seems like everyone and their mother is going to be on the Bengals in this one. But, Stevie, I know you've been a big Chargers believer. Meerkat yourself as well. How you feeling going into this one, boys?
This is a tough one for me because I feel like I'm cheating on the other team if I take one side. It feels like a must-win game for the Chargers, but over the past 5 years, the Chargers are the team that loses those must-win games. You're right, though, Ty. It does feel like everyone here, especially if the line stays right around 3, that everyone's going to take the Bengals after what they just showed against the Steelers, too. They didn't just beat them. They smoked them. That was never a contest, and kind of quite the opposite in the Denver game for the Chargers. They were never really competitive. They were trying to claw back into that game, but down 2 scores early, and then it's just been every single week. Teams are just running the ball on the Chargers. You saw the Broncos do it last week with Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams, and the Bengals, it looks like Joe Mixon is finally fully healthy, and he's a very good back when he's fully healthy, so he could just run the ball down their throats the whole time, and the Bengals don't really even need to pass, despite having really good receivers options to. But this is a really tough game for me. I hope it's a close game, so I kind of just want to take the points with the Chargers. I think Herbert's better quarterback than Burrow. Love them both, but I still really trust Herbert, and I think this is a different Chargers team. This is a must-win game. They can't fall to 6-6. This would be huge to get to 7-5 here. I'll take the points. I hope it moves. I doubt this line moves at all, but it's one of those games where I just kind of want to bet it just to have a rooting interest in it because I'm going to watch it regardless. I love both these teams. I think it'll be a great close game. Give me the points.
One of the very, very, very few times I'm like, thank God the Bills aren't in the 1 o'clock window because I hate sitting here antsy all day, not watching the Bills, but I will be very, very entertained.
Yeah, this is just one of those games. My initial thoughts are like, I don't want to bet it. I just want to watch it and enjoy it and hope it's a great game, which I'm hoping it's, lining up to be right now. But the Chargers as dogs +3. Sign me up. I think this is a close game. I like the Chargers to win. I'm going to buy the insurance with the points because I've been a little too jumpy at some money lines recently instead of taking the points, and it's bit me in the ass. So we're going to just take the points here with the Chargers. I'm pretty confident on that. They're 2-1 against the spread as dogs this year, 3-2 against the spread on the road, and since he's just 1-2 as home favorites against the spread, and this is a TikTok theory, Stevie's TikTok theory game. Bengals huge cover last week, Chargers terrible last week. It just plays out. I love the TikTok theory, but it's going to be a wild game because you got the Bengals, 9th worst pass defense in the league going up against Herbert and that 6th ranked passing offense. But then you got Joe Mixon, who's been on fire against just a god-awful Chargers rushing defense. I don't know what Joe Staley's doing. He's got to get that unit together. Probably not going to happen this year because it hasn't happened yet, but I don't know. It's just going to be a shootout.
Brandon Staley, Meerkat.
Brandon Staley. Say Joe Staley. Sorry, I keep doing that.
Yeah, he's
Staley.
A lineman,
Yeah, Joe Staley.
he's still in the NFL somehow.
He's a football guy.
But it's just one of those games where I think, I don't bet totals, but I could see this being a shootout, high-scoring game over type deal where it's close, but I like the Chargers as dogs.
Another TikTok trend I saw the other day, Meerkat.
Don't get me hooked on another one. Feed it to me. Give it to me.
Unders on divisional games after week 11.
I think I saw that too.
Yeah, they're like over 65%, something like that.
I think it was 68%.
Yeah, they're like 7-2 so far, or something like that. So the next game we're going to be talking about in the 1 o'clock slate, the last one of the 1 o'clock slate, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going into the Atlanta Falcons.
I don't want to talk about
game under 50.5. Screw the Falcons. This is a large spread. Tom's been a little bit iffy covering these. We're not even going to cover this game. We're going to move right on because the Falcons.
Give me the Bucs. That's all I'm going to say. Just give me the Bucs. I hate the Falcons.
Exactly. 4:05. We got the Washington football team taking on Ty B's, Hunter Renfro's Vegas Raiders. Vegas obviously still right there in the playoff hunt. Washington football team still in the NFC least hunt. Like you said, Meerkat,
3 straight wins.
Anything keeps you alive there right now. But a 2.5-point spread in that game with Washington as the road team, over under 49.5. We've seen both these teams below 500 against the spread this year, with Washington being a little bit worse, and both of them within a game of 500 on the total here. So this is a tough game to pick. I love what the Raiders have done throughout most of the season. You boys already know what I'm betting on Sunday, and it's going to be that Renfro over. I don't even care after that. What was it, like 13 catches? What is this total going to go up to, like 8.5?
It just keeps hitting. It just keeps hitting every single week.
It's absolutely unbelievable. It's the freest money of free money football is Hunter Renfro overs. But Stevie, you with me on this one? Is it Vegas or not?
I mean, that might be the only way I play this game is Renfro, because I just can't get this Washington football team right. When I thought they were going to right the ship earlier in the year, they just got worse and worse on defense. And now they've rattled off 3 straight wins, including over the defending Super Bowl champ, the Bucs, in Carolina, and then on Monday night against the Seahawks. And now you play a Raiders team in Vegas. It has the defense finally figured it out. Maybe could they get after Carr? Possibly, but the Raiders played what I think was one of the most impressive games all year when they played against Dallas on Thanksgiving. They controlled that game. I know Dallas forced it to overtime. They had to come back with their offense, which they will do. They're the Dallas Cowboys. But the Raiders played very well, and they kept time of possession. They stayed on the field. I can't get the Washington football team right. I kind of just want to take the Raiders in Vegas. There's really no, rhyme or reason to it because these are two teams that just very random on a week-to-week basis. The Raiders have gotten blown out, and they've beaten teams they have no business being in the field with. And like I said, with Washington, they started off the year, everyone was talking about, this defense could be top 5, it's going to be great. And it was one of the worst defenses in the NFL. They finally turned it around. They're getting a little healthier, getting some skill position guys back. I know they had Logan Thomas come back, Curtis Samuel. I don't know. I'll take the Raiders at home. I don't have any strong reason behind it. Just give me a Renfro. Just give me a Renfro for this game. I'll watch it that way.
I'm not sure how I want to play this. I'm kind of leaning Washington football team right now, boys. Are they back right now? They
talk me into it.
Hold on. Are you saying Washington takes a big lead so that you got to keep throwing it to Hunter Renfro all day?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, we'll take that all day because Washington kind of reminds me of the Dolphins right now. They're covering games. They're stringing together wins. The questionable young quarterback is looking good. The offense is getting healthy. You brought it up. You got Thomas back. You got Curtis Samuel back. You got a Gibby 100%, which we don't love because of Jared Patterson purposes, but he's looked good. Whitmer, you need him to look for that offense to fully operate great. And the defense, overhyped coming into this season, started out trash, and now the past 4 games, they're playing pretty well, allowing 16 points per game on average. Reminds me a lot of the Dolphins. Now, is that good? Not really, but the Raiders showed me a lot on Thanksgiving. They showed a lot of guts on Thanksgiving. Carr leads the NFL in passing yards right now, I believe. He's been airing it out this year, and he's got a big time to shine against a defense that's allowed over 2 passing touchdowns per game this year in the air. I'm just like, I don't know. It feels like I should bet the Raiders, which makes me like Washington here because people are like, when are they going to come down? They shouldn't be stringing together these wins, but that NFC East, baby, it's wide open. They're still in it, and I have a future on them. It's not a lot, but I threw a unit on a nice Washington football team future to win the NFC East. So I'm buying into them finally after just giving up on that future by like week 3. I'm back in on it, so I like them.
They were a second half of the year team last year too. Yep. Maybe that's just how this team's built. Maybe they just click. Something clicks when the weather gets cold. Who knows?
Yeah. You see how pumped Ron Rivera was last week, too? Hype leaving that field. You love to see that. Riverboat Ron's got these boys in line.
Huge Ron Rivera fan.
All right. This segment I'm going to call Stevie's Corner.
No, I'm not talking about this game.
You're the – no. Me and Meerkat aren't even going to talk about the game. This is only you telling me why the Rams have not covered – they haven't covered in their last 5 games. It might be
they've been outscored by 41 their past 3.
We don't need to talk about it. We don't need to talk about it.
How's a team that hasn't covered in their last 5 games favored by 12.5?
Well, first off, they shouldn't be favored by double digits to anyone. I don't care who they're playing this week. They shouldn't be favored by double digits. This is the classic Rams probably are going to play down to their opponent. They could beat the Jaguars by 38, and I wouldn't even care. They played so bad against, playoff teams the past 3 weeks with the Titans, the Niners, and the Packers. Now, I do think Matthew Stafford is playing hurt a little bit because if you have watched him, the ball is just not coming out the same way. He doesn't have the same throw power, but that is no excuses. When you sign these big names, when you get Von Miller and he makes one big play since he's been here, it's just disgusting right now. I can't stand what this team is doing. The receiving core isn't even the problem with Woods being out. Odell actually played all right last week, and Van Jefferson has kind of stepped up, which I love. I really like Van Jefferson, but it's just the defense can't get off the field on third down. They're an elite defense on first down and second down. When it comes to third down, it could be 3rd and 65, and they're going to find a way to let their opposing team get it. The Jaguars, though, I don't think the Jaguars have any life. The Jaguars have looked so bad. They're losing to everyone. I foolishly thought they could. I know they beat the Bills. I don't know how they beat the Bills, Ty, because it's how this year's NFL is going. But the Jaguars just haven't shown any life. I thought they could give the Falcons a game. I thought they could beat the Falcons. No, they could barely, make that look competitive late in the game. They were down big early, had to come back. This feels like it has to be a get-right spot for the Rams. It has to be. if they lose this game, then I'm done with free money football. I can't come out here and face it if they lose this game, go to 7-5 in that NFC playoff race. They have to get right here, and it feels like the spot where they will get right, and they'll just blow out a team that they are better in every kind of facet of the game than. But man, they got to beat someone decent at some point. The Rams, you get all these flashy names. You're in LA. You think you're a quote unquote super team, trading all your draft picks, and then you just get beat by the same teams. Even if they win this game by 30, it doesn't really change my opinion of what they've been doing this past month. I've been disgusted watching their games. But you know what? I'm not going to come out here and say take the Jaguars plus 12.5. I don't think I'll bet this game. I'm already invested in this stupid team enough. I'll watch this game. If you want to, make money this week in football, don't bet the Rams. Just avoid the game. Just don't even. If you're not a Rams fan, you shouldn't be watching this game. If you're a Jaguars fan, I don't even care. There's no Jaguars fans here. Just don't watch the game. Just let this game happen. It'll be one of those where you scroll on your phone, you check the box score, you go, oh, okay, Rams won by 10, didn't cover. Or Rams won by 14.
So Jags money line plus 475.
Just take it. Please take it.
That's what I got. Is Jags money line, and then when Stevie is, actually wrong, and the Jags do end up winning and hitting the money line, he's hosting Free Money Football next Wednesday by himself for a full episode, and in the back, and we're just going to hop in periodically and just play random highlights from the loss. So you heard it here first. That's what we're going to do. But on to the next game where we have a very big divisional game, probably one of the biggest rivalries in all of the NFL, as we have the Baltimore Ravens taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Baltimore, 4.5-point favorites in the road, over under 44 in that one. Another one of those divisional games to look out for. Both these teams 500 or better, but both under 500 against the spread. 5-6 for the Ravens, 4-7 for Pittsburgh. Something's got to give for these teams. One of these teams has to cover.
Are the Ravens the most underwhelming 8-3 team we've seen?
Oh yeah, no. Last year's Steelers. I mean,
they were 11-0. Yeah, that's true.
That was a more underwhelming team from the AFC North that people thought was going to take the 1 seed in the AFC, just overall. But we're talking about coaches that like to coach down to their competition, like Sean McVay. Mike Tomlin's the same way recently. He's a great coach, but especially at home, just something clicks where he's like, all right, no matter how bad the team is, no matter how good, we got to just play a little bit worse than them. They're 1-5 against the spread at home this year. I can't trust them. The whole team's battered. I don't know if Ben Roethlisberger is even like alive. I think he's some sort of like Frankenstein creation at some point where he's being powered by his porn addiction. I'm not sure. But if there's one thing the Ravens offense does well and consistently, it's run the ball. They're averaging like 150 yards per game on the ground this year, and the Steelers defense is allowing the 5th most rushing yards per game. So I do trust the Ravens here. The Steelers are beat up. The defense doesn't look good. And Lamar, 4 interceptions last week. Turnovers, not great, but the Steelers only have 10 turnovers this year and only 5 interceptions. They just don't force a lot. The defense is way too beat up and inconsistent.
I agree. I can't really say anything else on that. The Steelers are a team, but I just can't get right. And I think, Mirka, you laid it out. It just seems like this would be kind of – the Ravens have more of a recipe to beat the Steelers than the Steelers do.
Yeah. Don't overthink it. Just grind the ball.
I think you're right.
Absolutely in that one. The game, I'm just excited to see a lot of physical play in. Like, that's a game I probably don't end up betting just because how bad both teams have been against the spread, and it's probably just going to be a real close game, like punch in the mouth type game. Like it could be a field goal or like a 24-20 type game, and you're right at that 44 mark, you're right at that 4.5 mark, and it's just better to stay away because your ass might be in the jackpot depending on when you get that line. But on to the last game here in that 425 window, you got the 49ers. Stevie getting frisky, 6-5.
They are. Unfortunately, they are. They're
Hey.
they're playing well.
Let me finish. Minus 3.5 here on the road, going up against the 12th man and the Seattle Seahawks, who've lost 3 straight games. But Russell Wilson's never lost 9 or more than 9 games in a career. I don't think he's ever really missed many games in his career like he has this year.
Yeah.
So that's who the hell knows how that goes. Now, Stevie, you can talk.
Well, this is interesting, right? Because the Seahawks, ever since they drafted Russell Wilson, have been a competitive team, have been a playoff football team, a winning record team since he's been there. And now Russell Wilson, Mr. Fancy schmancy Russell Wilson has to lead a 3-8 team. I mean, they're basically out of contention right now. You're playing a division rival, and shout out to the Rams again for catapulting the 49ers to have another, great stretch. Every year when the 49ers beat the Rams, it just brings them new life, and they start winning games again. They are fully healthy again. And what I did say, I know Debo got hurt, which is a big loss. I know you, Tybee, know that because of what he's been doing for you in fantasy. But when he's doubtful this week. But when George Kittle is healthy, this 49ers team is completely different. This 49ers offense is different. They're able to run the ball. They're able to implement play action. They're able to just gash you up the middle. The Seahawks, they just kind of look dead to me. I know Russell Wilson, we know he's a very good quarterback. He's been a very good quarterback his whole career, but he's 3-8. The Seahawks are 3-8. Granted, he's been hurt this year. I don't really think Russell Wilson's going to will this team into anything. The 49ers are going the complete opposite direction where they want the playoffs now, and they're probably the scariest team to have to face in one of those wild card games. When George Kittle's healthy, I just keep taking the 49ers. I like them here again.
See, the 49ers are getting frisky. I hate them, but I'll admit it. They've been looking good recently. Yeah. They're 3-1 against the spread as road favorites so far this year. But these are the numbers, boys. Throwing them out. Throwing out the numbers. This is a gut play. I'm all over the Seahawks as dogs. I don't have anything to support it. I really don't. I think Devo, out of that offense, he's not going to play. He's not playing.
He's not playing. He's not playing.
He's not playing this week. Yeah. And that's going to cripple their entire offensive game plan. I know they can produce with whatever they have in the backfield. They still have other good receivers, but Debo is so vital to that team. He is an absolute finisher, and they don't have that type of killer instinct outside of George Kittle, who's going to have to be, picking it up double time, and he hasn't been fully healthy yet this year. When I don't know. I like the Seahawks bounce back. Russell Wilson, I hope he's chugging concussion water. I don't know. I hope he's making more like Succession memes that don't make sense. I don't know what's going on.
I hope you're right.
Warner being out for that 49ers defense as well. That's their captain of that defense. That's bad, and it's just like this is a pure gut play. The second I saw this line, I was like, I love the Seahawks this week, boys.
Mr. Unlimited. Come on.
I hate him.
I
love him, but I hate him.
I loved him as a player in college when he was at NC State. So I've been a Russell Wilson fan, and I literally bought his jersey before he even made his first career start, and now he's such a dweeb. I still can't stand it. All right, whatever. On to the next game here, which is the last game of Sunday, where we have the Broncos playing the Kansas City Chiefs for what? First place. Ooh? Ooh? In the AFC West? Ooh?
This line is so fucky.
10 points. We're back to the Chiefs lines getting inflated.
This is just ridiculous. And it kind of makes sense, but it just doesn't make sense. They don't deserve that amount of respect. I mean, that AFC West is so wide open right now. The Broncos, I haven't loved them once this year, I don't think, going into a game, and I don't love them this week, but they keep proving me wrong. They look good. I mean, Patrick Surtain, you saw him last week. He's absolutely incredible.
I wonder who said he was going to be Defensive Rookie of the Year.
You did, but who said Micah Parsons?
Yeah. The
my
favorite.
Sweet baby.
Favorite.
Hey, I made a prediction before the draft even that Micah Parsons would be an NFL Hall of Famer, and
it's down to those two. So
it's just I think the Broncos defense has enough to disrupt the Chiefs offense, which is that's the game plan this year. Rattle Patrick Mahomes, take out either Travis Kelce or Tyreek Hill, which teams have been able to do more successfully with Kelce, but still can't really take them out. But you limit them and you disrupt Mahomes, make him uncomfortable. He's been turning the ball over a lot this year. The Broncos defense likes takeaways. Casey's just 1-5 against the spread as home favorites just this year. Not even dating back to last season. Only covered once at home as favorites. Yeah. It's just that. I don't want Casey. I'm not touching that. That number doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I think we're back to the inflated KC spread, so I'm just going to take the opposite again. I was kind of on KC a little bit when everyone started to go down on them, but now they 2 weeks ago, they beat up on the Cowboys. People saw that. They beat up on the Raiders in primetime before that. Public watched that. Those are two heavily watched games. I think everyone's back and, the Chiefs are going to be the Super Bowl contenders again. They might, but you know what? I think this Broncos team's pretty good, and the Broncos' biggest strength counters what the Chiefs love to do. They love their vertical passing game. The Broncos have a fantastic secondary with great safeties and that hybrid, corner safety, whatever you want to call them. Patrick Surtain that we've been talking about all year. I like the Broncos plus 10. I was shocked to see how big this number was. But I think a lot of people are still going to lay 10 points with the Chiefs. So give me the Broncos plus 10. Hope it's, a classic close divisional game. And like we said, divisional rivals, I'll take the big points. Give me the Broncos.
Yonder as well about that divisional game, remember? And I'm pretty sure that's all the games for the week.
Yep.
Nothing else.
Right. Good night now.
Good night. Nothing else. All right.
That was the weakest good night now I've ever seen.
Sorry.
So nothing to be worried about here. Bills minus 3.5. Bills minus 3.5. They're going to cover very easily. Home Monday night game. Fans are going to be drunk all day. Going to be extra loud at night. Potential snowstorm.
Something to monitor.
Snowstorm potentially.
Do you want the snowstorm? Would you rather want
good
weather or a snowstorm?
Josh Allen's performed poorly in bad weather recently, which just scares me. I don't want that.
Yeah. You go out and you get a quarterback with big hands who's played in snow before. Josh Allen has won games in college for Wyoming multiple times in the snow because of the crazy shit he was able to do. Put Mac Jones in a snow game against Josh Allen. I'm taking him a million times over. Meerkat, I need you to be a little bit more confident before I come over there and I give you
I'm confident.
an RKO out of nowhere, buddy.
This is the biggest rat trap of the line of the week right here. Giving the Bills 3 points when the public, the country, everybody is so in on these Patriots who are red hot and deserve the praise they're getting. With Bill Belichick, all of that, they're getting number 1 seed in the AFC hype. It's like, okay, well, we're going to make the Bills favorites. We're not going to move the line at all, no matter where the money's coming in. And we're going to let everybody and their mothers in the world outside of Buffalo pretty much bet on the Patriots. I'm going to be really curious to see how the money plays out coming into this game. I think the sharp action is going to end up on Buffalo. Again, these are assumptions, but just the way this line came out, immediately when I saw it, I was like, all right, I am confident. I am feeling good about that. Now, New England, they're 4-1 against the spread away this year. They're 2-0 with a rest disadvantage, which they're coming this one with. But the Bills, without Trey, all that, they got that underdog mentality, which is where I want them. I don't want them to come into a game with too much hype right now. No, we just spent an hour with Mark Schofield the past
Jacoby Myers,
Kendrick Bourne. Their receivers are good.
Okay.
Their receivers, these are the type of guys that
There's no one that's receiver, a real number 1 receiver.
This is where the Bills get hurt, though. Kind of is giving too much cushion sometimes with their guys without Trey, who can really press.
Because what do? They play underneath. You're going to be playing a lot more zone, Meerkat, because what do? They jump off to the running backs.
I'm just saying we can't just because it's Mac Jones. Like, this offense has been operating great. Josh McDaniels, Bill Belichick have this offense fine-tuned for Mac Jones right now. These receivers are perfect for the offense, and their backfield looks great. I mean, they've looked good. I'm not going to – I hate Mac Jones. I said he was going to be a bust, all this, and I'm not hyping him up. But Mac Jones has looked good, and we got to be afraid of these Patriots right now. But I'm still feeling confident. The Bills are getting Spencer Brown and Star Lotulelei back. They're off the COVID list, and the offense has been incredible this year with Spencer Brown. It gives the run game a lot more versatility because he is so fast. Having a tackle that can pull off of that bookend like he does is a game changer, just not a guard, especially for a back like Devin Singletary, who I'd like to get like 15 to 20 touches this game. I might be looking at some of his yardage overs. And then when you go down the board, the Bills and the Patriots are pretty evenly matched up statistically and, depth chart wise at most position groups. When you really break it down, the only true X factor game breaking thing in this game is Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, which, the last game against the Patriots connected for like 145 yards and 3 touchdowns. This has got to be a Josh Allen game. This is the game where Josh Allen, I know Mac Jones is a rookie and we shouldn't be afraid of him as much as we are, but it's the evil empire. It's New England. We can't overhype last year's sweep. We got to go into this game ready to fucking win, and I think we are, and the line makes me confident. I love the Bills. Sorry, I went on a rant. This isn't the cap.
No, you're supposed to go on a rant.
Yeah.
I told you earlier, I said there's a couple teams I'm just going to listen to Meerkat for: Browns, Lions, and Bills. So Monday after work, I'm going to shoot Meerkat a quick text. Be like, Meerkat, what do we like? Props, spread, whatever. And that's what I'm taking. That's my analysis for the game, Ty. Meerkat knows his Bills. The one game I hammered the Bills he didn't was the Colts, and I couldn't have been more wrong. So if he loves the Bills in one game, I trust him.
Taking them. I'm sorry, but I had to.
Think about it. What are you going to do if you're Leslie Frazier? You're playing exotic defenses against a young quarterback. A lot of zone blitzes, guys coming off the edge that they think they're going to come into coverage, guys who can drop off. The Bills have so many guys who can play so versatile still, even with Trey White out of the lineup, because you got guys like like Saran Neal and Teron Johnson who can move all over, like who can blitz, who can cover. It's just you measure defense this way for a reason, so that you can do multiple things at all times. Like, they play a base nickel defense. You might not have to play a base nickel here. Like, you might bring in an extra linebacker in this game if your linebackers are healthy, and you don't necessarily need to have that consistent nickel back in the game. And you have, Teron Johnson necessarily isn't an outside guy, but because of the receiver,
you got to keep Teron in the slot at the nickel.
No,
you can't,
but Meerkat, the next point is, they don't necessarily have all big outside receivers. Like, you might be able to get a matchup where you can put Teron on the outside because it's not a receiver who's like a real outside guy. Like, you can get matchups and do things, and I think that Leslie Frazier is going to get those matchups and do things that Mac Jones has not seen yet this year in the NFL. He's going to watch every single game film. He's never seen this blitz. He's never seen this coverage.
I'm not as worried about the coverages.
Look at him the same way that Bill Belichick has done to every other rookie quarterback he has faced in his career. What was it? Rookies under 23 or quarterbacks under 24 were like, have only beat him once in his career. That's exactly what's about to happen from this Bills team now with this defense going up against young quarterbacks. You're not going to be able to figure these things out. I mean, Trevor Lawrence got very, very lucky to beat the Bills. He didn't even have to throw,
that was disrupting Josh Allen, and the Bills' defense looked incredible in that game. Yeah, the Bills' defense wasn't the problem. That was the Josh Allen getting, against an elite pass rusher in bad weather, which is what scares me. With bad weather and a Matthew Judon, who's been an absolute terror this year against the secondary, the only secondary in the NFL that has more interceptions than the Bills, against Josh Allen, who we've seen this year start forcing the ball in tight windows, and like last week's first interception. It's the only thing that scares me. And I wasn't, downplaying our secondary depth or anything, but it's probably going to end up being, Levi, obviously, and then Dane Jackson across from him is the true 2 guy on the outside. And I think they can both handle themselves along the perimeter and all that. They're not going to allow the big plays. Where the big play is going to actually come is from them they can't really run, and that's the only thing. Bourne and Myers can catch the hell out of the ball, not as much as a runner, but these guys get the yards after the catch. 50% of Mac Jones' passing yards this year are yards after the catch from the receivers, and this is where Levi and Dane Jackson have trouble. But with Trey out, the safeties are going to be playing up, a little shallow or helping out, and that's going to help us in this one. I just force New England to run the ball. Force them to run the ball. I don't care if they're getting 4 yards a clip with Ramondre Stevenson and Damian Williams. Just force them to run it. Don't let these receivers let our corners make a mistake.
Guess who has a better running offense? Actually, Buffalo does in New England. Very surprising, and they're like the 3rd ranked rushing offense.
That doesn't make sense.
Takes
That's
Allen into account, though. That takes Allen's rushing into account too.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. I do like Devin Singletary a lot this week, but we just went off for like 15 minutes about the Bills.
Yeah, I think the Bills are going to do a lot of what the Patriots have done in the past, where it's going to be death by paper cuts to that defense. They're going to take what Bill Belichick gives them, and that's what's going to kill him in the long run, because I think Josh is finally has that confidence to relax and do that. He's not trying to press things the way we saw Mahomes doing for many of the weeks this season. Even when Josh has been throwing interceptions lately, a couple of I'd say more have been deflection. A lot of them have been deflections, less than him trying to really really force things. Guys getting their hands up and whatnot. But I like them to bounce back. Hopefully they cover and win that division. I don't even know what the hell's going on with a lot of these simulations, because somehow it gives like the Patriots like the highest spot, or higher percentage to be the number 1 seed, but the Bills still higher percentage to win the division. Who the hell knows? We'll see what happens, and we'll be back on Sunday to bring you our best bets. So make sure you guys follow at Degenerate Zone for more. Beercat bringing you the dart of the day all the time. We got a ton of content over at trainwrecksports.com. We got a bunch of fantasy football stuff rolling as well. What's Trainwreck watching, and a ton more. So make sure you're liking and subscribing if you're watching over on YouTube for all of our content. Make sure you're retweeting and sharing if you're over on Twitter. Make sure you give us all a follow. We love talking, all sports, all betting, all that stuff. So make sure you do that. So make sure you get out there. Go hammer the books. Go hammer the creek. Go calling your bets. Go texting your bets. Do whatever you got to do. Get that free money. Good night now.